Hello everyone, welcome to clubofhorrors.com. In this video, I am going to show you the tech stack I have been using at clubofhorrors.com, and I am keep using this tech stack I am going to show you. I will also show you why I have chosen those frameworks and libraries of JavaScript. I have built the whole website using TypeScript because type safety is must. So let's begin. I have built a separate platform to manage all the content on the main website clubofhorrors.com. It has been put on another domain name, and the front end, let's look at the front end and let's see what the frameworks and libraries I'm using at clubofhorrors.com. For the front end, I am using Next.js, Tailwind CSS, TypeScript. Why? Because Next.js is pretty fast. I have built similar websites a few years ago and projects that went very good, and I have been able to build them very fast. That's why I have chosen Next.js. So let's see Next.js, because it eliminates the use of React router. The React router thing I found difficult to understand, and it has inbuilt file routing system. That is the thing I like about Next.js. That's why I am using Next.js at clubofhorrors.com. Another one is Tailwind CSS. I hate writing plain CSS. These days, Tailwind CSS comes to rescue. If you go to clubofhorrors.com, you will see I am using Tailwind CSS over there. So you can go through the documentation and you will find it very useful, and this is very productive to use. So TypeScript, that is by default, and to manage to call the API routes I am using, and to manage the state, to manage the global state, and in the server state I am using RTK query, which is given by Redux toolkit. It's a very good library which I highly recommend you to use. So these are the things I'm using for the main website clubofhorrors.com. And for the CMS, let me show you what I'm using. So here is the thing. For the components like models or sidebar and all of those models, tooltips, I'm using Headless UI, which is a great library to use with Tailwind CSS if you want to build. If you do not want to mess around building your own custom models or sidebar, which is a pain, you should definitely check it out. If you are using Tailwind CSS, then it will definitely make your life very smooth and easy to build components like that. So Tailwind CSS plus Headless UI. These are the things I am using at main website. Let's see what I am using at admin panel, or we can say CMS. For the CMS, I am using Next.js, Tailwind CSS by default, but for the components, I am using Maintain library, Maintain UI. This is a very great library I found, which provides a lot of nicely built components out of the box, which is very easy to use. So I highly recommend you to check it out. For the components, I am using Maintain UI. That's all. All the other things are same. And to manage server state and local state, for the local state, I am use context hook and context API. So to manage client state, use context hook. And to manage the server state, I am using React query, which is definitely a great library to work with. You should check it out. I have used React query as well as RTK query plus Redux toolkit, but I found it very easy to install and work with RTK query plus Redux toolkit, because we don't have to install. If you want to manage server state over here, you can use React query, but to manage the global state, if you have a complex state, you should use a state management library such as Redux toolkit or Justin or any other state management library. But here at Club of Horrors, the client state is not so complicated, and it's a CMS, so I just used context hook. But on the front end side, I installed just one package, and that's all. It has server state management and client state management, so it works pretty smoothly. So let's come over backend. So for backend, what were my options? My options were Node.js, because I want to build my whole site using JavaScript. That's why I'm giving these options to you, and then I will tell you what I have chosen to build. So for the backend, I have options such as Node.js, Express, and I have another options which is Node.js plus Fastify. But what I have found is there is a framework exists called Nest.js which provides a lot of inbuilt functionalities such as automatic CRUD functionality generation, automatic test generation. It handles boilerplate code for ourselves. We do not have to worry much about setting up our code base. But if you are using Node.js Express, then it will be a painful step for you. So Next.js remove that step, and that's why I am using Nest.js for the backend. For the database, let's go. For the database, first I have used Postgres, but then I have moved toward MongoDB. Why I choose this? Because it's the initial days in a startup. So I would say it's hard to manage all the migrations and all that stuff for me alone. If you are one person company, or if you are a just person building your project on your own, I would highly recommend you to check MongoDB and use it, because it removes the pain of migrations, and you can use MongoDB at least for free in initial days. I am using that, and it is working pretty well for me. That's why I'm recommending it to you. And another thing is, what is the ORM? What is the object relational mapper I have used? So I have used Prisma, which is very beautiful thing I can say. It is very beautiful framework and a library. It's very good to use. Let's visit the prisma.io. You will find it's similar to like GraphQL, but I would not say it's a GraphQL, but it's very interesting and pretty easy to use it, and pretty easy to learn. The learning curve is very low, and you will find it very easy to work with. Prisma, Nest.js, and MongoDB. These are working pretty smoothly, pretty nicely for me. For the image hosting, I'm using S3 on the AWS, and also I'm using SNS to manage all the mails, sending emails and doing all that mailing stuff. I'm using simple mail service from Amazon Web Services. So it's working pretty nicely for me. And to manage email and manage email list, I am using ListMonk, which is in free and open source software developed by Zerodha. Zerodha is an Indian stock market startup. I have seen one of their co-founders tweet about ListMonk, and I have self-hosted it, and I'm using it pretty well, and it is working pretty neat, and it's working pretty great for me. For the deployment, this is a hard part. I am not good at deployment, and I've struggled a lot to deploy the website. Google Cloud comes to rescue me, and it is working pretty well. I have struggled to host it on AWS services, such as there are services which provides you to host a Node.js application, but I have struggled to host my application on AWS. So I figured out, so I have used Docker container to host the backend, which is hosted on Google Cloud. And how it is hosted? It is hosted every time as I commit and push to GitHub, it gets automatically built by Google Cloud Build, and then I am using a serverless container, which is Google Cloud Run, to run the container, to run my Node.js container. And the DB is on MongoDB Atlas. So this is what I am using at clubofcoders.com. Okay, this is pretty everything I am using at clubofcoders.com. You can visit the site, you can explore it. Also, a small promotion. If you have watched till now, I am going to conduct a cohort-based front-end developer fast-paced bootcamp. You can explore it more on here, clubofcoders.com/roadmap/frontend, and you can go to website and you can see what are the projects we are going to build. If you are beginner in web development world, you would find it very useful for yourself. You will be able to build any front-end application on your own. You can use 40 off coupon code while checking out by clicking on the apply coupon button. So let me know if you found this video helpful in the comment section. I would love to hear your thoughts. If you have any doubts, I will see you in the next video. Thank you very much.